Pokemon Champions is changing the very foundation of the VGC, and today we're going to do a deep dive into some of the information that is definitely a little bit obscure and some information you may not know about. What's up, trainers? It's Ridockus Gaming, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we are on the road to 5,000 subscribers right here on the channel with our huge booster box giveaway. And don't forget to like the video as we go ahead and dive into this information. Alrighty, so really quick, if you don't know what Pokemon Champions is, it's an upcoming strategy battle focused title that will combine all previous and current battle gimmicks into one game. And in the Pokemon Presents that happened in July, there was actually a lot more information that we not only on the Presents, but also on the website, and some finer print information that you probably missed. So let's start with some of the more obvious ones. First off, I wanted to point out this moment in the Pokemon Presents trailer, which shows a held items button. Now, Pokemon has clarified that items will be removed when you transfer Pokemon in from home into Pokemon Champions, which also leads me to believe that certain items such as a Mega Stones that are required in order to change forms probably just won't be included in Champions, which is a great approach if your main focus is accessibility to battling, which is exactly what this is. And of course, we've already known that both moves, abilities, and stats can be changed before being thrown into battle. For stats, a Pokemon will have a free 66 allocation points to be put in however you like, but 32 points in a singular stat is the max number that you are able to go. Now, the caveat of this is from here on out, if you want to train your Pokemon become better, that's exactly what you are going to have to do, using something known as VP or victory points, which is the in-game currency. Now, Pokemon has clarified that victory points will not be directly purchasable and instead will have to be won through by battling. Now, that's not to say that there won't be some other pay-to-win feature from an accessibility standpoint, and I kind of hope it stays that way. Now, in that listing, you'll notice that I did not say IVs, and that's because there has been no mention of IVs, whether on Pokemon Presents, the reveal trailer, or the website, which could mean a couple of things. One, they just haven't announced it yet. Two, IVs will be regulated. Or three, IVs just may not exist in the game at all, which honestly, I'm kind of for. The next thing on this list I'm actually super excited about because I have been wanting this for a long time, and that is we are actually getting percentages when it comes to both moves and HP. Why is this such a big deal? What does this mean? Well, for starters, we are getting a much more detailed description when it comes to moves, which gives you a lot more insight into how they play, what affects it, what doesn't, and it kind of helps clear up a lot of things that especially newer players may need clarifying. Also, despite what the power says on a move, there's actually a range in which this move could hit. It inquires a bunch of math, but it literally puts a range on how much damage this move is going to do. It's not a fixed point. But with the new Pokemon Champions, we will know what the percentage is that we are hitting for. We will have a percentage on the HP bar, which is great. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't really think off the top of my head other games that did this. And I also want to mention that Pokemon will be level locked at 50. I've also seen a bit of confusion from the community that I wanted to go ahead and clear up. In the most recent Pokemon Presents trailer, it did show that Pokemon found in the game do not truly belong to you and are much more of a rented out style. I'm not talking about the Pokemon that you bring in from home, but Pokemon Champions has like a roster of Pokemon that you can pick through. These are literally rented out Pokemon, meaning that this is going to resemble something more like Pokemon Stadium or Pokemon Showdown. We also have a breakdown on the new move effectiveness chart shown in the previous trailer. Of course, super effective is 2 times weak and not very effective is 2 times resist. But now we have mostly ineffective and extremely effective. Mostly ineffective is a 4 times resistance and extremely effective is a 4 times weakness. And this is really going to shake things up and basically brings us to a completely new VGC style format. Now, I do know that this game has drummed up a couple of concerns. On one hand, you have never had competitive Pokemon be this accessible, but on the other hand, are we giving Pokemon battling a TCG Pocket effect? What I mean by that is TCG Pocket is great. It's much more accessible to get into than physical cards. A lot more people. It's a shortened, more simplified version of the actual TCG, so more people are able to kind of get in, do a quick game, and get on with their day. So it's very appealing, especially to more casual players. However, there is the concern of, well, what are you missing out on? If you do want to transfer from Pocket to the actual TCG, it's gonna be a bit different. All of a sudden, you're gonna have to start really resource managing when it comes to energy usage. And that's exactly some of the things that could happen here. Newer players get onto Pokemon Champions, they get really into this, and then if it doesn't translate to the main games, then But for some people, that is a plus. Some people only get the newest Pokemon game because they want to play the VGC. They could care less about the storyline necessarily. So only time will tell if we are going to start seeing more similarities between the main game and something like Champions moving forward. There's also a concern on if VP will be truly readily available through battling. What other in-game items am I gonna have to spend money on in order to really get the most out of this game? Now, Pokemon usually does offer a free-to-play aspect, especially on any games that fall on, you can play this on the Switch or you can play this on iOS or Android. But just like with Unite, just like with TCG Pocket, and just like Pokemon and Friends, the newest game obsession that I have, it's like, yeah, you can play the free-to-play game, but if you really want to get the most out of this, obviously you're gonna have to spend some money. Otherwise, you're just really behind everyone else. But I want to know your opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of some of the new changes that are coming with Pokemon Champions? How do you think this is going to affect the main game? And let me know how you guys feel about Mega Dragonite. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to check out one of these videos because Papa YouTube knows you're already going to like it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!